Welcome to the Ish Show that was ready to love.
And while they may not like each other, both Katerina and Janelle have disrespectful tendencies. Janelle is antagonistic and Kat certainly is disrespectful.
Come on with the truth. Preach, sister.
And it's ugly, it's vile. There's no reason for women to go at it the way they were going at it. For what?
Um,
What's the win here?
there is none from my vantage point.
Thank you. Meanwhile, after much thought and consideration, Miss Kira said that she should not have said that Quentin looked like he dated white women. What she really should have said is because he came out of Florida, she thinks he dated Hispanic women. That's dumb deep.
Wait a minute.
Water can't even reach the spot.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that the depths of her stupidity, as it relates to her remark, was so deep that water can't reach it?
It doesn't even get down where she is. And it's a cautionary tale for any woman who a man demands that you treat him a certain way, but he does not want you to
Reciproc.
reciprocate that same behavior towards you.
Welcome to Cliff Alert. Today we're going to be talking about OWN Network's reality-based TV series, Ready to Love, season number 8, episode number 14, Reunion Part 2.
But before we get into it, please like, share, and subscribe. You clicking that like button and subscribing helps us in the algorithm. And we say thank you for that. So
Absolutely.
let's just go. It starts off, of course, with the end of that fight. Now, I watched it again, and it seemed like this sequence of the upset between Tequila and Janelle, it seemed to be heavily edited. So we're not sure why there was a conflict to begin with, and how why they cut it the way they cut it, basically to get a rise out of people. But it is what it is. I guess if you're acting like you have some sort of sense, they won't have tape to edit to present you in that foul manner.
But that was not the case this episode. Um, Tequila acted like she didn't have no home training, turning over tables, and had
Security
to be
took away.
removed.
They all look bad in that moment.
Probably being nice and generous about in terms of a
Yeah,
characterization of what they
well,
did.
it is what it
I
is.
cannot begin to think that they thought that that would look good on camera. Neither them nor the representative that showed up.
Right, and the producers don't mind dragging them because that's exactly what happened. Now, if you have no material, if you have no skin in the game,
You
they
got
couldn't get material to make you look stupid. Am I wrong? Act outside of who you are to present a toxic behavior between women. And the first one up was Katerina and Janelle.
Yeah, along with in the first segment, along with Quentin and Marie, got into it right then and there.
Yeah,
Picked up where they left off, so to
Tommy
speak.
wants to find out what the upset is about, and I think Kat, she
Mhm.
started going in about how Janelle is disrespectful, and which she is. She was disrespectful in their encounters at the retreat house, and it was uncalled for and unwarranted. And then Janelle started that antagonizing stuff.
Right, because Kat said to Tommy that she felt like Janelle was belittling her and that she rubs people the
The wrong
wrong
way.
way.
Right.
Mhm.
And Janelle goes in.
And also too, she said that she doesn't like the way specifically that she addresses her, referring to Kat.
Yes, that you got to treat her with some level of respect.
Right now, remember
Well,
that, y'all.
well, if you got to treat her with some level of respect, why is she the first one to call Janelle something outside of a name?
Def point by
And
Tommy.
Tommy pointed that
Yep.
out. Janelle found that nerve for Kat, and she kept pressing on it.
Mm.
And meanwhile, as she pressed, Kat became more and more disrespectful towards Janelle, calling her names. Both of them showed their character and who they really are.
And let me tell you something else that I think was interesting in the way of commentary originating from Janelle's mouth. She began to explain some things about herself that she perceives is a problem with other people. Specifically, she said that her presence kind of I guess challenges other people's or what she perceives as other people's mediocrity.
That is
Mediocrity.
that is pressing the nerve.
Right.
She's going in.
Right.
He's antagonizing people to
Right.
say some stuff
Right.
to make them act outside. That's a game plan.
And then
She
in
took. Do
response,
you see the pleasure she took out of them?
absolutely.
These women have no control over their self. They
Hmm.
have no self awareness.
And when Marie got a chance to interject, he made a point that I thought was a good one to make at the time. What his issue was seeing two black women go at it in a disrespectful way right there on
Did
stop
that
them.
stop them?
No.
That will be no. There was no prize at the end of this. Janelle felt like she got the upper hand when she called them all mediocre because they're all coming for her. Transferable energy from Janelle went to Kat, and then she decides to do the same thing with Jessica
Later on.
to belittle Jessica. And Mr. Quilla, too, didn't add anything to the conversation.
Well, I think it was a waste of, if you will, verbal space and verbal time. He said he said what amounted to nothing that was worth really listening to. Help saw what was going on.
Right. And meanwhile, the other cast members in the back are mocking him because they think maybe he
He
is
just
caught
wants to
up.
sound like he's saying something viable or legitimate when he's not.
Anyway, what's next?
In the next segment, Chris is on stage and in the hot seat, and his other cast members, Lee, Kat, Aries, Mare, and Jessica, join him on set.
Yeah, Chris, the one who wants a woman to be submissive so he could kick her around. They showed him telling Jessica that although she is a boss lady, when she speaks to him, she gotta be soft because he's gonna speak to her soft as well.
The tape showed which Jessica referenced.
Right,
It's on tape.
right.
Okay, so are you trying to get me to not believe what my ears heard and my eyes saw on tape?
Yeah, because they showed him saying
More
it
on
was a
more than one occasion.
combative situation with Jessica. Then he said she was combative. It happened that you would feel that it was okay to talk to her the way you did.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he apologized to her. Then he said, I will apologize to her. And I couldn't understand which was which because he came back with a lie. He said he did not say she was combative just after we just saw him say
Mm-hmm.
that she was combative twice.
And then he tried to rationalize it by kind of redirecting the focus and trying to enlist Marie to support him in his rationalization of a lie.
Right. And he shifts to Marie, but he doesn't allow Marie to speak. A brother
It's
talking loud and saying
it's like
nothing.
world, Marie like violated some kind of bro code.
And then he said, well, all the men said that she was combative.
Another lie.
And excuse me, but doesn't all the men include him?
The one who said it,
All the word all adds, it doesn't
it's
subtract.
inclusive.
Right. So is he telling on himself?
Um,
I'm just curious.
I don't think that he realizes it, but the short answer to your question is yeah, he is
Yeah,
telling on himself.
okay. Okay, that's what I thought. He shifts from one point of view to the other, and he doesn't stand flat-footed and say, "Yeah, I called her combative," because Tommy was trying to get to the point, like, what did she say to deserve how you spoke to her? And then he shifted from, oh, well, the way she was antagonizing
And
um
not only me, but others as
me, the
well,
others as well.
including the other women. And I'm like, hold up, bruh. Wait a minute.
Did we see that?
We didn't see that, nor did we see on camera, at least, anything that would suggest that Jessica was disrespectful to him when they were even in one-on-one situations.
And what is he talking about?
No, it wasn't confusing to me. It was straight up a lie.
Then Jessica tried to put his nose back into it. She said, "Well, you're the one who said I was combative," and she reached out to Kat, saying that I know you heard me say something, but Kat had that ugly spirit on her, and she refused to speak truth,
Acknowledge
acknowledge what she knows
was
was
true.
true from Jessica. She sees that Jessica may be in a weak position, so she now could batter her.
It didn't make her look good, and at that moment, but again, to me, she's another one who started off on a high and whose stock has gradually dropped as I've begun to see her each and every episode kind of decline in terms of her image based on some issues that in my opinion, feel like she has yet to address about herself.
We didn't see a on-air apology from Chris to Jessica, which I thought was unfortunate because he disrespected her on
He
camera.
did
And
say,
I would think that he should take the time to apologize to her on camera.
yeah, he definitely did not do
No,
that.
people not taking responsibility for their bad behavior and negativity and the way they talk to each other in such a disrespectful way. It's just, how are these people looking for love?
Um, I don't think that just from my vantage point, I don't think that there are too many people in this season as cast members who I think are legitimately ready to love. Just my opinion. I have no real knowledge of anything that was happening away from the cameras other than what they've chosen to reveal. But what I've seen, it doesn't give me pause to believe that, yeah, these people were indeed ready to love.
Who's up next?
Well, Aries and Phil got a chance to talk about what happened at the decision day
Yeah.
and kind of explain what led up to that.
Yeah. Tommy asked Phil if he was shocked when he was turned down
And
by
you know
Abe.
what he said? He
He
said
said he
no.
wasn't.
And the reason why he said he wasn't shocked by Aries' decision was because he noticed that the communication lines had been basically severed by her about a week and a half prior to decision day.
Right.
So he kind of had,
A
I guess, a
clue.
sense for what was coming. I think at the end of the process, when he started to get a feel for where she was and said that, hey, look, she can go on and lose out. I think it was a few episodes prior to
Yeah,
this.
he started
He
talking
started
negatively.
right, but he didn't let that come out, during this show reunion part two. He kept to me, he kept it classy. He tried to stay above it as best he could. He didn't really finger point in a negative way at her. Apparently, they still have a more than cordial relationship, and
Well,
they are kind of at least going out. You know,
well, one of the subscribers last week said that Aries would have been fine with Phil had they been younger or just starting
yeah,
out.
yeah,
She could get with him.
yes.
But she too said that she's been married twice
Mhm.
and now she can't fool around with just her time and her energy and her love.
Yeah,
She got to be more intentional,
right.
and that may mean that she can't be in support of all the stuff that he wants to do.
Yeah, and I think she also said that there were other issues, but that was the
That was
one of
the
the main
biggest
ones,
one.
right? But
And
I think, and I have to give him, I don't know what happened, obviously behind the scenes, but based on what I saw on camera, I think he was intentional. Okay, I think she referenced the fact that she felt like or believed that this was not actually the right time for them.
right.
Okay.
But he said that he was gainfully employed, and
Mhm.
what was strange to me is them saying that they're still dating or hanging out or whatever.
Yeah, but
And
they're more than cordial to each other.
my thing is why.
Let me say this.
Why?
Tommy asked him, is there a chance or possibility that something could develop down the line?" And Aries was quick to say, yeah, or to respond or come back with, uh, "Yeah, absolutely from my end." But um,
Philip ain't
Philip didn't
going
say
back.
anything.
No,
Philip didn't
no,
say anything. He
no.
just,
He's
he
not doing it.
remained quiet,
No.
and that was my read on it as well, because y- in that instance, what he didn't say spoke loudly,
Yes, yes.
spoke very loudly about where he is
No,
from my
he
vantage point.
he been dragged by a family, by
Mhm.
her,
Right,
and
his face was broken on decision day.
Tequila trying to drag him with the bankruptcy stuff,
Right.
and the encounter between them on decision day.
Yes,
It's a little too much. I don't see the dude, trying to get with Aries,
I
because it
would
seems
agree with
like
that.
she's always gonna have questions, and
And you know what he did say though? I think he did say in his own defense, he felt like he was good enough.
yeah, and
And I agree
I
with him,
agree with it.
to be in that position where you are not afraid to admit that I can't be what she expects me to
But
be.
if I were her, I wouldn't be dating him.
Kira had her segment where she talked about, oh, Mr. Quentin, and she tries to dig herself out of the hole that that she talked herself into.
Now, I would think, as a grown woman, Kira is what, 26, 20,
Something,
whatever.
late 20s, early
I would
30s.
think that after she saw the debacle of saying that black culture is disrespectful, that she would have a come to Jesus moment and say, maybe I should try to get smarter before I film again.
Or say something, or
Or
speak
maybe I
speak
should
on
not
something,
speak on something I do not know, or make
or
general stuff. Her thing was people judge her all day long so she could do the same thing. And that's why she was able to say what she said about Quentin, but this time it was no longer he looks like he dates white woman. This time it was because he out of Florida.
she got a vibe
She
that
got a vibe. He
he
probably dates Hispanic woman.
right. Well,
Now,
I
I don't know about you, but I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. I need to go for a walk to get some fresh. I I can't take a whole lot more of that.
what was troubling to me is that she lacks complete and utter self-awareness about not only the hole that she talked herself into and the depths to which she had talked herself into that hole, but she doubled down and said and doesn't realize that she talked herself into new levels of depth for the foolishness that came out of her mouth as justification for what she originally said that got her in the hole to begin with.
They brought Marianne on. He was on set, and he said, well, he knew he couldn't get with her because his level of knowledge about black culture is different from hers,
And
and
she twisted that.
he knows that that will make her uncomfortable. So that tells him he can't get with his sister, and it makes sense to me.
Right, but the problem with what she did was she twisted what he said. Okay.
She may have twisted what he said, but Maria is smart enough to know that doesn't have the total grasp on all things that is black and all things that
And
is,
he acknowledged
and he
that.
cannot,
And he's not a
because
spokesperson for all things that are black culture.
there's a whole lot of people who can give you wisdom and what have you,
No
and
question.
maybe perhaps hopefully Kira could get with some of those people, or maybe a couple of books.
Me personally, I was baffled about why Marie felt the need to apologize to her and or explain his position because she happened to be backstage crying.
Well, you it's okay. The man was being sympathetic and kind to, a woman in a crying in a corner will touch a man to, go over there and be, especially if he feels like she's crying over something he may have said or done.
But this was not that case. This was she
I
was crying over something that she said
I know that, but I understand why
and
he
how it
did
was
it.
perceived.
He was being kind and thoughtful and pleasant. And
Man, call me
he
hardcore.
was giving her grace. Wasn't she the one who jumped up and said that Chris was doing some sort of double punch thing after he said that
Yeah, and she
he
was gestures
cussed
in
Jessica
backstage.
out?
Right.
I mean, what was that?
Eh,
Rejoicing at ugly?
yes, yes, yes. Hmm.
Does she know that that brings that ugly even closer to her?
I wonder if she knows is that kind of sticking with the analogy that her reputation took a body shot that dropped her. I wonder if she realizes that and that it was self inflicted. On top of that, does she
My,
recognize that?
my hope is that Kira has get with people that are much smarter than she is,
And my
much and who can guide her in the way because um
and my hope is that she thinks 3 times before she even considers speaking once
well, she's not about to do that, but the hope is that her circle, she gets out of it because clearly she's not learning anything within her circle. She probably is the smartest one in her circle, and that could be the problem
Okay,
too.
moving along, the next segment was Janelle, Quentin, and Lee, because apparently Q had some real challenges and struggles having two or what he felt was two strong connections that kind of put him in an awkward scenario
Well,
situation,
he said
and one that he's not accustomed
in
to
his life he doesn't date multiple women. He usually focus on one woman, so
at a time.
it was hard for him, a challenge for him to be dealing with two women that he was attracted to,
Yeah.
and unfortunately Janelle had his attention
Hmm. Well, not for
far
her.
more than Lee.
Yes, yes. But even though that was indeed the case, I think that Lee kind of felt like, based on the vibes that he was giving her, that it was something that possibly could have developed into something if given the opportunity to explore. You know, but I don't think that I don't
Yeah,
think.
maybe I'm just different,
Yeah.
but if the man is telling me that he ghosted me, why am I still trying to push up on him?
Well, but that was that. But wasn't that after he had made several said several complimentary things about her and the way she looks and all that, and their connection based on the few times that they had talked.
A woman knows when a man is trying to get with her. I mean, trying
Yeah.
to get in
Yeah.
her life.
Yes.
He moves differently. He
Yes.
operates differently.
Yes.
Could be Monday or Tuesday. He's already calling you for to set up a date on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's doing the work to get and make sure you know that he
Where
is
he is.
tracking you down.
Right. Where he is about what his intentions are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not a secret.
Right.
You're not doing a guessing game.
Now, what his
He
motives
he
are is something
he
different.
the last voice you hear at night is gonna be him on the phone
Yeah.
and you're talking for hours.
What my understanding of what was going on between him and Janelle.
Yes. So why did Lee think that the fault was Janelle? I don't
I
understand.
don't get that part either.
Um, Quentin is a grown man, and he is showing you that
Despite what.
he may be attracted to you,
Yes.
but he got eyes for someone else.
Despite what he may be saying to you.
Exactly.
Right.
And
Yes.
Quentin's
Yes.
eyes devours Janelle whenever she's on set.
He's definitely into.
He's right about what he says. She got an aura and he got an aura and he wants to blend that thing. That's sexy to him.
Yes, and
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 while
nobody.
Lee is an attractive, beautiful woman.
Yes,
Not
she
into
didn't do it
her
for
like
him.
that.
Right, exactly. For him because he saw what he wanted and what he was attracted to and decided to pursue it.
Now, while I agree that Janelle may have said some slick stuff at the retreat because that's who she is, the reason why she wasn't pursued is that Quentin was after Janelle.
Hmm.
That was his focus.
Yes,
So that told should have told her that, hey, there's nothing going on here. So she did the right thing by going to Tony
self-eliminating.
and saying,
I
I'm
think
out.
it was noble too, but I'm not going to let Clinton entirely off the hook. And the reason why was because I feel like, to at least some degree or some level, he was sending mixed signals
He
to Lee.
was, and he could have said something,
Yeah,
but unfortunately, Quentin doesn't know how to resolve stuff. And to me, that's the biggest problem. They're
and
going to
may have
have
already encountered.
some issues as it relates to him speaking up and saying what he wants to say, saying what direction he wants to move. Because Janelle comes on strong. She's no shrinking
I
violet.
was getting ready to say,
And she is going to squash him if he's not careful.
well, I will say this. I think he could have handled it, and you suggested this earlier in a much different way that would have been a little bit more clear. I just think that he could have handled it slightly different. Now, does it mean that I don't feel like Lee maybe kind of ran past some signs, some warning signs? Yeah, I do.
So
I think she did do that,
I
but
just think it's weird that both she and Katerina is holding Janelle responsible for the man not talking to them when he has some responsibility.
right, he does. There's no question about it. I
And
get it.
while Janelle, I understand, is slick and she's disrespectful and she gonna say some ish to you, the responsibility for finding out where Q was on him, and he did not handle that properly at all.
I agree. I agree.
But it wasn't a secret who he was really into, and that was from the beginning, middle, and end. That was Janelle.
She could have been, uh, in a position to really leave no doubt about that by verbally coming to her and saying, "Hey, look, this is where I am." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but he left no doubt by how he pursued her. So I don't know what the upset is about, really.
Mhm.
And at one point, Lee said in the conversation, she don't have to deal with this
Yeah,
nonsense.
because
But
she
I
kind
just
of
thought it was
accused
Janelle of
of lying.
lying,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. Capping, right? She
And
capping.
then Janelle went in her arrogant,
Response,
antagonistic.
response.
It's all about me. My light is brighter than yours, and that got under their skin. She
Well,
was pressing in on that.
Janelle seems to be adept at being able to do that with other women.
Yes, yes. And she finds a lot of pleasure from it.
Which is indicative of somebody, from my vantage point, who has serious issues.
Yes, yes.
Because you can't move forward at the expense of somebody else.
No, while people do it every day of the week, there's a consequence for
Right? You
that.
can't. To me, you can't do it in any legitimate and righteous way.
Janelle and Quentin
Yeah,
and
yeah,
their relationship
and
falling out.
they're handling it. Their explanation is, so where are you to the where are you now question from Tommy was, you know what, we're handling it day to day. We are romantically involved, and we're trying to work it out. And from Q's vantage point, you know, I kind of get the feeling that he expects that one, they are going to work it out, okay, and get past their issues and move towards marriage, which is what he says he wants.
I think he's overlooking all the red flags.
I think he's got to take the time to go through that process, and she has got to take the time because really she's the one that has a time frame that she puts forth as being, something that legitimately impacts her decision making.
I think
Okay.
Janelle has a lot of hard edges, and it's gonna be up to her to try to soften up. Because one of the things she did admit is that her prior relationship, she was not a lovey-dovey person. And if you get her angry, that sister is gonna find that nerve and start tap dancing on it.